Well, hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to share a little bit of my birth story with you guys. I know that I talked a little bit about it on my Instagram if you follow me over there, but I wanted to make a whole video just kind of going in depth, tell you guys all the details, things leading up to before I went into labor, a little bit of things that happened after, but I don't want to go into too much detail about afterwards because I do want to do a whole postpartum video. I've also shared about that on my Instagram a little bit, and that's part of the reason it's taken me 5 weeks now to film this video. I just wasn't in a very good headspace the first few weeks, and just transitioning into being a mom, having a newborn, getting a whole new routine. It's just kind of a little bit of a shock to the system. So I want to come on here and share this because I had a really positive birth experience. It went way better than I could have imagined. I didn't really have a birth plan. I just kind of went into it with however he had to get here, that's how he had to get here. So all in all, it went really great. So I'm gonna share with you guys everything that happened that day, and I have some notes here hopefully to help keep me on track so I don't ramble too much, but I'm gonna go ahead and get into the video. Well, right now I am 5 weeks postpartum and I have my 6-week checkup next week, so I'm really excited to be released, hopefully to start working out and getting back into a normal routine of everything. I also go back to work next week, so not super excited about it, but I am, just to have a sense of normalcy back in our life. But I'm gonna go ahead and get started on talking about things leading up to going into labor, kind of how I knew when to go to the hospital, my whole labor experience, and then a little bit about postpartum, about after he was born. I wanna give you guys the whole story because everything was so positive. I had a really good experience, a really good birth. It was everything I could have asked for. So if you're looking for a positive birth experience, I know everybody is different. Everybody has a different experience, a different outlook on things, but I just really want to share it with you guys. I went into labor on July 20th and I had him on July 21st, but my original due date was August 3rd, so I went into labor early. I went to labor at exactly 38 weeks and had him the day after I turned 38 weeks. So timing could not have been better. He was definitely ready to come out, but I kind of went into spontaneous labor, I would say. Leading up to that day, I hadn't really had any Braxton Hicks that I could feel, that I knew of, any contractions. I had had my 38-week appointment a few days before that, my 36-week or 37-week, oh my gosh, I can't keep track, so many numbers. My 37-week appointment the week before that, because at that time I was going weekly and there was no signs that I was going into labor. So my doctor was just as surprised as I was. Starting on the morning of July 20th, I woke up and I had some back pain, but I just thought I had slept wrong on it. I was 38 weeks pregnant. I just thought I was getting uncomfortable, getting to the end stages of pregnancy. So I went ahead and went on my morning walk that I always do, because walking usually helped my back to feel better. And after that, I really didn't get any relief. So I ate my breakfast, did all my normal morning routine. And while I was working that day, since I work from home, I just bounced on my ball while I was doing my work. And nothing was really helping it, and it would kind of come and go. I said I was just having back pain, not any stomach tightening, so I decided to start timing them, and it was kind of all over the place. And I didn't think it was regular contractions because it was just in my back. So they were like 9 minutes apart, 10 minutes apart. Some were even like 20 to 30 minutes. I just kind of brushed it off. The rest of the day, I went on a walk that afternoon again on my lunch and just tried to stretch out my legs, my hips, my back, and things just started to get worse. So I decided to lay down on the couch and drink some water. Maybe I was dehydrated, just going through all the bases of everything I knew to do if I was having contractions or felt like I overdid it. And when I laid on the couch to try to take a nap and rest, they kind of started to get more uncomfortable, and at that point they were getting more consistent. I would say like 9 to 11 minutes apart, And again, not super painful, just really uncomfortable. We got off of work and Kyle wanted to go to the golf course, so I decided to go out and go golfing with him. And when we were on the golf course, they got progressively closer together, but again, still not super uncomfortable, and it was just pain in my back. So I didn't think it was real contractions, and I wasn't having any other pain, any other symptoms. So by the time we got off of the golf course and we're heading back home, they were probably around 5 to 7 minutes apart, and I was not in any shape to make dinner, so we went to get Arby's. And once we came home to start eating dinner, I couldn't even sit down to eat dinner. Again, just super uncomfortable. I had to get up and walk around to help them feel better. So at that point, I was like, maybe I might need to call the hospital. But I went to take a hot shower and just kind of get myself ready in case we did have to go that night. And the shower really helped to slow them down. I went ahead, did my whole routine, dried and straightened my hair, was bouncing on my ball the whole time I was doing that, and then they came back and they were even closer together. So I called my mom, I was calling my sisters, asking them what they thought I should do, because again, I didn't think it was a real thing. I wasn't having stomach tightening, just really bad pain in my back. So my mom and sisters were telling me to call the hospital. So ultimately I decided to call. And when I talked to the on-call doctor, she told me to give it a few, since they were still kind of 3 to 5 minutes apart, but I could still walk and talk through them. It probably wasn't the real deal, but she said to call her back if it got later into the night and I couldn't sleep through them, or they were keeping me awake, or they got progressively worse. So I was getting ready. That was probably around 8 or 9, and once I finished getting ready, I got everything packed in my hospital bag that I needed just in case. And by the time 10:30 rolled around, I did not think I could sleep through them. They were getting really painful. So I called back and she told me to go ahead and come in, which I didn't really think she believed me that I was in actual labor. Again, I was a first-time mom. I'm sure they get calls like that all the time of people thinking they're in labor, going to come in, getting sent home. And honestly, I thought I was gonna get sent home because again, they were really uncomfortable, not super painful yet. And I told Kyle, I was like, I just want to go and get checked out for peace of mind for me. Don't want to have a baby at home. So we went ahead and headed to the hospital probably around 11:15. On the way to the hospital, we get pulled over, and it's not even for speeding. We got pulled over for one of our headlights being out. So to kick off our night, that is what happened. But he was super polite, came up to the window, did the whole spiel, and shined the light in the car. Noticed that I was having a contraction, was very big pregnant, so he ended up letting us go. We didn't get a ticket, so it was great. But the hospital is about 45 minutes away, so the whole drive there, just sitting in the car, not being able to move around, they were getting pretty uncomfortable. I was having to breathe through them. Once we got to the hospital, I could get up, I was walking, and that helped them make more manageable. And once we got to labor and delivery, I was on a break in between a contraction when I checked in. And the lady, when she came to give me my gown and everything, she was like, "Are you sure you're in labor? Or so you think you're in labor?" And I was like, "Yeah, maybe early labor. I'm not really sure. Like, this is my first time ever doing this." And she was like, "I don't think you're in actual labor because you wouldn't be this calm." She's like, "But we'll go ahead and check you out." So went in, got my hospital gown on, all of that good stuff. And then when the nurse came in to check me, I was still having contractions, but still just breathing through them. And the cervical checks, I tell you, that was the most uncomfortable thing I have ever experienced. But she came in and she checked me in the middle of a contraction, and I was 5 centimeters dilated and 75% effaced. So she was like, "Okay, I'm gonna bring in another nurse to double check me, but I'm thinking you're gonna be staying." So another nurse came in and checked me, and I was out of 5 and still 75% effaced. So admitted me. So I was super thankful to be staying. But again, I did not think that I was in actual labor. I did not think that that's how it was supposed to feel like. So once we got there, everything kind of went really quick. They got me checked in, they started my IV, took all my paperwork, and then probably an hour after I was there, they did my epidural, but I was group B strep positive, so they had to give me a few rounds of antibiotics before I could deliver. So things would have went faster with my actual like labor part if I wouldn't have been GBS positive, but they just kind of had to sit on me for a little bit while I got those antibiotics and the fluids and stuff for my epidural. So I got my epidural. Everything was so great. And epidural is the weirdest feeling ever. When they give you the first like really large dose, your legs feel like they're ginormous. But I got a little bit nauseous from the epidural in the beginning, but after I laid there for a little bit and just like things kind of got through my system, I felt great. I was able to sleep the whole night. They came in to check me every few hours and I progressed steadily throughout the night. I didn't need any Pitocin or anything, so I was really thankful for that. And I was so thankful that I got the epidural because I think that's what made my experience so positive. Whether you choose to get an epidural or you choose to go natural, I think either way is great, but the epidural was definitely what was best for me and is what made my experience, I feel like, very positive. Like I said, I labored and progressed all throughout the night, and probably around 9 or so in the morning, my doctor came and checked me and I was like at an 8 or a 9, and he had some surgeries to do that morning, so he kind of let me progress on my own, labor for a little bit longer. After one of his surgeries, he came in to check me. I was at a 9, almost to a 10, so he went ahead and broke my water, went back and did another surgery. And he came back probably around 11 or so, and I was at a 10 and ready to push. So all the nurses came in there, we got everything ready to go. The whole process was just really calm. Everything went really smooth. Nothing ever felt really rushed. Everyone made me feel really comfortable. So that was something I was really thankful for. But once we started pushing, we did a few practice pushes with the nurse just to kind of teach me how to do things and get things rolling. But with my epidural, I could feel no contractions. I didn't feel any pressure or anything. So I was kind of flying blind when it came to pushing. So they brought in the mirror, which I was super thankful for. In the beginning, I did not think I was going to want it. Honestly, it's not something that I thought I would want to see, but it was honestly really cool. And it helped me see how much I was progressing since I couldn't feel anything when I was pushing. And my husband was super great throughout the whole experience. I think he is what made everything just so calm. Like, he was so encouraging. He watched the whole thing. It was just a really good experience. We were joking and laughing in between pushes. I was talking about how I was sad that I couldn't get breakfast because it was already past breakfast time since it was almost noon. But yeah, after 30 minutes of pushing, he was out. He was born at 11:51, so almost exactly 12 hours after I had been admitted to the hospital. 11:51, and he was 7 pounds, 11 ounces, and 20 inches long. So he only got to be on my chest for a few seconds, just long enough to kind of take pictures for me to see him, for me to hold him for a second, and then they had to take him away because on the way out he swallowed a lot of amniotic fluid. One of the nurses told me it was the most she had ever seen a baby swallow since she has worked there as a nurse. So he took a pretty big drink and it just kind of saturated his lungs, and they had to take him, put him on a CPAP machine, put him on oxygen for a little bit. So he was in the NICU for probably a day and a half after we were there. So we spent the whole first night in our hospital room by ourselves, which was kind of weird. We could see him and watch him on the little NICU cameras that they have, and we were able to go down and see him and hold him as much as we wanted to, but it was just not the experience that I thought that I was going to have after the fact. So my whole labor and delivery went great, but after the fact, I just didn't get that experience that I wanted. But to me, in the moment, it was more important that he was taken care of and everything was good with him. The whole time, the nurses never made me feel nervous or afraid about anything. They never act panicked or anything. So I think that helped to keep me calm throughout that whole situation. And I am just so thankful that everything is okay. He's doing great now after that little stint. The only other hiccup we had was he was pretty jaundiced and had to be sent home on a bilirubin blanket for a few days. But other than that, he was doing great. He's still doing great. We go for his next checkup next week. So overall, I am just super thankful for how everything happened and just how everything went. I think I am going to save the rest of what happened afterwards for my postpartum video. It kind of included everything in that, which I plan to film that really soon after this video. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I wanted to share this with you, like I said, because it was such a positive experience. And obviously in the comments, let me know if you're pregnant when you're due, or if you had a similar birth story, or just how your birth went. I love to hear about it. I just think the whole experience of like pregnancy and birth is just really cool. It's just an experience in itself. So I'm gonna stop rambling because I have talked so much in this video, but if you guys want to keep up with me, I always link my Instagram down below. I try to be pretty active on there. I'm just now getting back into posting more and posting more videos. I want to get back into posting more regular content like cooking, household stuff, daily routines, grocery hauls, all of that stuff with a little bit of baby stuff, motherhood thrown in there a little bit. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video today, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.